Welcome everybody. This is called Lessons from the Field, and it's an interview format series of videos which will feature a diverse array of guests who have offered to share their career and professional journey. And today we're featuring Ketul Patel, who is Principal Medical Science Liaison with Regenix Bio and an alum of the UIC College of Pharmacy. And I'll be asking our guests 6 questions, and these questions are intended to elucidate insight for the benefit of our students, alumni, and friends. So let's get started. Dr. Patel, if you could just take a moment and briefly walk us through your career.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. My name is Ketul Patel. Like Glenn said, I'm the Principal Medical Science Liaison for Regenix Bio. I started my career back in 2000. I actually first started in retail pharmacy at Walgreens Pharmacy, but realized quickly that industry was the right path towards me, for me. So I started in the industry with a contract position, and entry-level contract position, and started my first company that I worked for was Procter & Gamble Pharmaceuticals. Very similar role. I was, of course, at that time, just a medical science liaison. But after Procter & Gamble, I went on to GlaxoSmithKline, spent about 10 years there in various different therapeutic areas, but also in various different departments. So not only as an MSL, but also within the managed care arena as well. Lots of different therapeutic areas. And then the science was progressing, so my interest was changing. I soon started transitioned over to a biotech company called Vertex Pharmaceuticals. They're predominantly focused on the new Hep C treatments and also in rare disease, cystic fibrosis. So that was a really transformative medicine that they were working on. So that interest in science allowed me to go there. And then from there, I went into another high science and a big interest is within gene therapy. So the last, I would say about 4 years has been within gene therapy at Avexis Incorporated was the last company, now Novartis, and now with Regenix Bio, who's also another leader in gene therapy.
Well, thank you. That was obviously you've had a very dynamic and a lot of different changes in your career. I wonder if you could reflect on in your current role, kind of what are the main things that you're involved in and kind of what keeps you excited or motivated.
Yeah.
For our listeners.
Yeah, so currently I'm involved in the pre-launch activities with Regenix Bio. They have not had the opportunity to launch a product. So a lot of my involvement with the company is really setting the stage for hopefully the potential launch of their gene therapy in rare disease. So a lot of my time is working with the clinical trial sites. Right now we're early in the development, like I said, so a lot of education around what we're doing with our programs. Obviously when there's a new data release, it's an opportunity for me to educate physicians, but eventually as the program moves from phase 2 to phase 3, I'll transition off and start talking to payers and then also a lot of the experts within not only gene therapy, but this particular disease I'm involved with. So a lot of education around that as well.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I mean, it must be really exciting the prospect of launching that first product and seeing how that does after you put so much time and effort into it. Mm-hmm. I mean, along that lines, maybe you could just reflect on either here or in your previous positions, what's been the most kind of thing that you've done that you felt has had the most impact or that's given you the most satisfaction in those positions?
Yeah, so as far as impact goes, I think, you know, with the knowledge that we obtain, you know, from pharmacy school and throughout the years, just constantly gaining knowledge about what we do and obviously specializing in our area. The most impactful area that an MSL I feel can have really is during this time in the pre-launch phase. A lot of information gathering, a lot of education involved with what we do. Like I said, I'm in gene therapy. It's very new to a lot of physicians. So even some of the experts within their own therapeutic area, they are very new to gene therapy. So a lot of education and around that. And so you can make a really big impact, not only within the organization, but outside of the organization. And as far as satisfaction goes, I'd have to say, because I'm in rare disease, you do get a chance to meet a lot of the families at some of the patient advocacy conferences. And that's where you really start seeing the satisfaction in what you do every day, because they're really relying on these companies to provide, breakthrough therapy, or in many cases, a therapy that's never been introduced for these patients that are suffering from rare disease. So you really get a chance to get rewarded by the families, who are always motivational and always pushing you to do the best you can. So a lot of satisfaction with that.
Yeah, I imagine. So you mentioned kind of keeping up in your knowledge base and experience, and taking what you learn in school, but then having to continue your education, so to speak, throughout your career. I wonder if you could just reflect on what ways have you found to do that? What's been most effective for you in maintaining that and growing your knowledge and experience to make you relevant for these positions that you've had?
Yeah, great question. I think for me personally, it's just adapting to the changes that my career has brought me. I've had an opportunity to change many different therapeutic areas, sometimes not by choice. Sometimes that's where the company's going, and you get opportunities elsewhere, so you have to seize those. And part of that is just being adaptable to change, and making sure that you're an expert on all the different therapeutic areas that the company can take you, or sometimes, like in my case, really the science drove me to other companies. The interest was there. So that was another part of it. So constantly staying educated, informing yourself about all the different therapeutic areas that you're going to come across is a big part of it. But adapting to all of these different changes, and not only the company, but also the industry. The industry's changed a lot. Our role has changed a lot. So adapting to those different changes as well.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you, I think you kind of answered this a little bit, but you have kind of moved up and taken positions in new companies. And I wonder, when you make those kinds of changes, is there, it could be the opportunity for the new experience or new role, but are there other things that affect you in making decisions about your career like that others can learn from, things that really influence you in making those kinds of decisions? Or when opportunities come up, what is it that goes through your head when you weigh the pros and cons of pursuing those? Because I know that it's often a difficult time for people because they're making a big life decision. Maybe you can provide some insight for our students.
Yeah, I know many people take different approaches when it comes to the next steps. I can speak for some of my colleagues. Some of them fell into their high interest in getting involved with marketing. Some folks have leaned towards getting involved more on the research side. So when you get into the industry, it steers you depending on what your interests are. My interest has always been about the science and learning about new things, learning from the experts out there that are really the clinical experts within the therapeutic area. I've always been drawn to that. So that's been kind of my steering point, is I've always followed the science. And even where I'm at today at REGENXBIO, it's because the gene therapy space that I'm in really fascinating, and it has a chance to be a potential curative option for patients. And I really like to kind of see how that's going to work out and how that's going to benefit patients ultimately. So for me, it's always been the science that's kind of led me to where I've been.
Yeah. I mean, I think I also know the answer to this next question too, because you've touched on it, but obviously you're still very excited about your career. What is it about pharmacy and this career and this profession that keeps you excited? And what do you see as the opportunities that exist not only for you but also for all of us in this career, specifically maybe for our students as they're moving out of school and into their new careers.
Yeah. Well, I've always felt, I can speak on UIC specifically, right? That's where I graduated from. I always felt the foundation that I got from UIC COP was there. That was the critical piece to really start now venturing out into different areas. So having that solid foundation was a big part of it. But then, as I mentioned, you always have to stay up to date with the changes, not only in industry, but in all the different therapeutic areas. So constantly educating yourself throughout the process, taking the initiative to learn all these different medicines, all these different mechanisms that go along with the pathology as well. So a lot of initiative on your part as you move through your career. And pharmacy, just having that foundation helped me do that. It was a little easier, obviously, having that background. But along the way, I've met a lot of folks that I've learned many new areas from, mentored a lot of folks along the way. So all of those things have helped. I've had opportunity to take many courses, health economics and outcomes research at the University of Arizona. So I've had these types of examples throughout my career to just continue learning and adapting to all the changes and all the areas of interest that I'm wanting to be a part of.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun, Dr. Patel. You mentioned meeting folks. I just wanted to throw one last question here. I know you met your wife when you were in pharmacy school.
Yeah.
So maybe, there's more than just what you learn in school, but also how it resets or changes your whole life course. But want to maybe mention a little bit about what your wife is up to? And I know she's got some exciting things she's doing in the dermatology and cosmetic field. I think some of us would probably love to hear that.
Yeah, so it's interesting. As I was on my way out, that's exactly when I met my wife. And she is very much, her passion has always been around skincare. And so she's been able to utilize, all the pharmaceutics courses that we took back in pharmacy and start to strengthen that a little bit. And it just started out at home where she just simply wanted to make a lotion that was safe for the family to use. And it turns out, that passion just kept on growing. So now she's really into that clean beauty market where she's developing her own products using very natural ingredients, but also she's using her knowledge to really research the ingredients that are harmful to you. So she has kind of a list of ingredients to stay away from and educate folks to stay away from. And that's really her, where, the world of pharmacy has taken her.
Yeah.
So more in the entrepreneurial side. But like I said, I think just having that pharmacy as a foundation really allows you to go many places.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a great example. I mean, between the two of you, of the spectrum of some of the career paths that pharmacy and training at UIC can take you. So really appreciate you the time today and sitting down and going through some of these questions. I know that our students and our faculty, staff, and friends who may view this video are really going to learn from it. I hope you don't mind that we also maybe include your contact information if any of them would want to get a hold of you. And
Absolutely. Happy to help.
Great. Okay, well, thank you, Ketul. Again, appreciate you and look forward to talking to you in the future.